boys and girls. So today we're going to talk about how to make an interesting composition. In art class, when we talk about composition, we are talking about the layout of your picture, where you place things. And we're going to try to make ours look a little more interesting. A couple different ways you can do that. And here's what you'll need. First of all, what you will need is a pencil and a piece of paper to draw on. Any kind of paper. So whatever you use to draw with, that's fine. If you don't have a pencil, you can use an ink pen, a marker, crayons, colored pencils. They all will work. You just need something to draw with. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple examples. This one right here, I've drawn some insects. I've drawn 3 insects. Notice that they're all perfectly straight up and down, and they're all in a row. But everything also has the same line weight, or the thickness of the line, and there's nothing other than just the outlines of things and a couple patterns. There's nothing really super exciting going on compared to the other one. We've got movement. None of my insects are lined up, they're kind of placed. We've got some areas that have heavier line weight, which means the line's thicker. We've got some really thin lines, some medium-sized lines. So that helps add interest. And also adding some patterns. Of course, being selective about where you put them. You don't have to put them everywhere. And one other thing that I did on this picture was I added some value. Value is the darkness or lightness of a color. Look at the size of your paper and also try to fill it up. What you don't want to end up with is a little tiny picture of something just in the middle and then a bunch of empty space around it. So I am going to do insects, just because we've already been talking about that and you're familiar with the 3 body parts. Think about it before you start, and then lightly with your pencil, put on my paper just some lines where I want my insects to go. Okay? Now they are so light that you might not even see them, but I put one here, here, and here. Now I drew them light because if I decide to later, I can erase those. As I'm going to use shapes for the 3 body parts, and you can use geometric square there. You can also use organic shapes. And you may also use, I'm going to use another organic shape right here. All right. I think that's important when you're thinking about composition, is including variety. If you make everything the same, it does get a little bit boring sometimes to look at. Okay, so I've got the head, thorax, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen, head, thorax, abdomen. Now for the other body parts. You need probably some eyes. Let's just put some eyes on all of these. Let's do the legs. Now, instead of just having the legs stick straight out and all be exactly the same, I do try to keep the front legs the same size, but it is okay if one's a little more straight and the other one's a little more bent. So I'm going to make a totally different kind of leg. Sometimes it looks like the leg is coming out from the abdomen because it's actually attached underneath, and that's what I think I'm going to do there. Let's kind of try to keep them. It's like it's sneaking out from behind there. Some of the other details, maybe you want antenna. I'm going to add something called value. Value is the darkness and lightness of colors. Sometimes you'll hear people call it shading. So I'm going to choose one side of my insect, and I'm going to just add a shadow along the edge of one side. This looks like a banana here. And then I'm going to keep coloring across, but I'm not going to go all the way across. Notice though, I'm starting to get lighter. I'm not pushing as hard. Now I'm using the side of my pencil because I wanted a smooth texture. If you want to get a different sort of texture, you can use the tip of your pencil. I find this sometimes gives a scratchier sort of texture. By the time I get about halfway across, I'm very light. So if you just do that already, you can see in this one insect, it's making a big difference between this one and the other two that I haven't added value. All right, so I'll fast forward through this little part. All right, now that I've added value to all my insects, I'm going to choose some things to emphasize by changing the line weight. So what I mean by that, and if you were watching the last video last week, is making some of the things have thicker line and some things having very thin line. Just color these legs in on this insect so that they don't get confused with that other one over here. Okay, so once you've emphasized a few items, and I'm not going to do it all right now, it's a good idea to go back and add texture, and you could actually go out and find some textures to rub, or you can add texture a little bit by adding a variety of lines and patterns. But what I'm talking about is adding some designs, just some patterns with lines or shapes. So, for example, I might do some stripes on this eye. Crisscross those, a little cross hatching going on. Ooh, that looks kind of nice. The eyes over on this bug just staying white. So I'm going to leave those, but maybe on these I'll add polka dots. You can add stripes to your insect. Now I'm kind of curving my line so it makes my insect look like it's a little more round. If I had just made them straight, it would have made them look flat. Maybe I'll add stripes to these legs. I need some hair. Sometimes insects, if you get them a real close-up view to them, you'll see a few of them, you have these like little hairs on them. All right, maybe you want to add some designs. Maybe this is like a bee or a wasp. Now, the nice thing about insects too is you can add wings. Remember, wings come out of this middle section. If you want them little, you can have them little. You can have double wings. Butterflies have double wings. You don't have to cover up your picture with the wings. You can even add a little texture with lines on the wings as well. I think that looks kind of cool. So some insects don't all have wings. If you think about ants, they don't have wings. Sometimes there's insects when they're just crawling around, you can't see their wings because they're covered up with a shell like on a ladybug. Here's a review. When you're drawing composition, try to draw 3 things that are of the same. So in this one I chose insects. Like I said, though, if you would rather draw fish swimming, I'm okay with that. First, think about the layout. Try to add movement by having curves. Then draw the main body parts first, okay? Think about adding value. Don't color everything black. Remember, you want to still see some white and some medium values in the middle. Add details like stripes or texture. Also, adding some emphasis by changing the line weight, which is the thickness of the line, making some things thicker. Overall, if you do this with your pictures, I think you'll find that you're getting some really nice looking pictures in your artwork. If you are able to upload a photo to Seesaw or to Artsonia, remember, if it's on Artsonia, it will stay in your digital portfolio for a very long time. And if you're not able to do it, you can still do this drawing. Have fun drawing today and think about your composition. Bye!